We've heard of Nostradamus, the 14th century French prophet, but have you heard of the prophet Baba Vanga? Baba Vanga was a blind Bulgarian clairvoyant who racked up more than her fair share of predictions. Born in 1911, she lived to the age of 85 years old, dying in 1996. Baba Vanga was a Bulgarian clairvoyant who was born on January 31, 1911 in Strumica, Ottoman Empire. She convinced many followers that she possessed paranormal abilities. According to reports, over 85% of her predictions were accurate. Not only had Baba predicted that our 44th president would be African American, she also predicted the 2004 Boxing Day tsunami, the rise of the terrorist group ISIS, as well as her most famous prediction that came true, which was the 9/11 terrorist attacks. She argued, horror, horror. The American brethren will fall after being attacked by the steelbirds. The wolves will be howling in a bush, and innocents' blood will be gushing, and so the tragedy unfolded as Baba Vanga predicted. For the year 2017, the following predictions are revealed. Donald Trump will not complete full presidential term. Baba Vanga, who successfully predicted that the 44th President of the United States would indefinitely be an African American man, which we all know to be President Obama, is also predicting that the president after Obama, which we all know to be the current presidential-elect Donald Trump, would not serve his full term as U.S. President. Vanga also envisioned that this president would leave office with the country in economic ruins and conflict erupting between the northern and southern states. This intense prediction can bring us to several conclusions. First, we can think of presidential impeachment as one of the reasons that this can be true. However, the removal of an American president chosen by the citizenry is unprecedented. Only 2 presidents have been impeached in United States history. These presidents were ex-President Andrew Johnson in 1868 and ex-President Bill Clinton in 1998, and neither was convicted of the charges filed against him. However, there's already talk of impeachment in just a few weeks into Donald Trump's turbulent presidency all over the U.S. In fact, many are already betting on it. Besides impeachment or resignation on Trump's end, the only conclusion we can come to regarding Trump not completing his full term is either by death from health issues or even by assassination. According to the blind prophet, the Republican Donald Trump will escape death following 3 deadly plots this year. Muslims to invade Europe. The invasion of Europe by Muslims. The blind psychic Baba Vanga also foresaw that Muslims would eventually invade the European continent and that there would be widespread destruction by extremists. This destruction would continue for many years until the European continent eventually ceases to exist. Interestingly, Baba Vanga also predicted that the Great Muslim War would start in Syria. Vanga's prophecies mention the emergence of a Muslim group in Syria in 2013 which will wage chemical warfare on Europe. Many believe this is a reference to ISIS, which also came on the scene in 2013. Since this prediction did come true, then it can be a good indication that the Muslims are indeed invading Europe slowly but surely. This prediction seems to be coming true as the new stronghold has reportedly seen a rapid growth, rocketing from 200 fighters to around 5,000 since ISIS announced its branch. Earlier this year, the brutal regime also released a map showing the areas it intends to dominate in the next 5 years. The menacing image highlights areas the brutal terror organization plans to seize by 2020, including Spain, China, and parts of North Africa. According to the map, they plan to take control of the Middle East, North Africa, and parts of Europe within the next 5 years to complete its caliphate. Muslims to invade the United States via Canada. Baba Vanga predicted America being attacked via steelbirds. This was a clear reference to September 11th, and this prediction was indeed true, but she also predicts another attack from Syria. This prediction can be very valid as Vanga was the one who predicted the rise of ISIS decades ago. This prediction can also refer to the recent influx of Syrian refugees into Canada, some of whom are members of ISIS. Terrorists returning to Canada after fighting abroad in hotspots such as Syria raise serious security concerns, says the report, which warns that a violent act of terrorism could occur in Canada. Like the United States and other Western countries, Canada is primarily concerned about those terrorists who might commit an attack on their soil. It remains unclear how many ISIS-tied individuals are estimated to be in the United States, as the government administration has yet to publicly release numbers like its Canadian counterpart. Skin cancer will rise. Vanga also stated that more and more people will suffer from skin cancer and other skin diseases as a consequence of chemical warfare, exposure to UV radiation and global warming effects. Vanga predicted that the main skin cancer to look out for would be melanoma. With this said, records have shown that many individuals continue to be diagnosed with melanoma, the deadliest form of skin cancer, at steadily spiraling rates. This prediction seems very strong due to the fact that according to the National Cancer Institute, the rate of new melanoma cases among adults has tripled since the 1970s, from 7.9 per 100,000 people in 1975 to 24 per 100,000 in 2013. Just as alarming, the melanoma death rate for white men, the highest risk group, has escalated sharply, from 2.6 deaths per 100,000 in 1975 to 4.6 in 2013. Baby Vanga foresaw many people suffering from this disease globally. Earthquakes everywhere. Vanga is also predicting that earthquakes will increase in strength and frequency once more in the year 2017. According to Vanga, this is the Earth's way of releasing pent-up energy because of the strain it's endured. It was emphasized that these earthquakes would affect the Philippines, Indonesia and Japan the most. This prediction is already seeing light as countries such as Italy, Papua New Guinea, the Philippines, India, Fiji, Ecuador, Solomon Islands, Indonesia, Madagascar and many more have reported earthquakes in 2017, resulting in immense damage and casualties in the process. A unified Korea. Vanga also predicted that North and South Korea would begin to join forces by the end of 2017. After World War II, Cold War rivalries between the US and Soviet Union divided the Korean peninsula into two countries, North and South Korea. The end of the World War II in 1945 divided the Korean peninsula, and the 1950 Korean War solidified the division. Since then, reunification has been a dream for the Korean people and a problem for the neighboring countries. However, the history of the North-South dialogue is not a long one. After the confrontation between the two Koreas during the 1950s, the Republic of Korea, ROK, Park Geun-hye administration adopted the policy of nation-building first, unification later in the 1960s. Today, the neighboring nations exist amid a tense ceasefire agreement, yet talk of reunification remains ever present. With the leadership of the North Korean political regime in flux, the political and economic relationship between North Korea and South Korea, and between the Korean peninsula and the world, is uncertain. What would be the implications if the current North Korean government were to fall? Only time will tell what the future reveals.